All right, Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart. We're zoomed way in here, so we're going to cover the shorter time frame. Then we'll zoom out, look at the daily, maybe the 3-day and the weekly, see where our targets are to the upside or the downside. The downside seems a little bit more favorable at the moment. We got to look at targets. Where could our short-term, long-term, temporary bottom be? That's what we're going to look at today. So if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter, Telegram, Patreon for more content, more kind of alerts for our private Telegram channel. Gave an alert yesterday that the trend might be shifting to the downside. There's some warnings. What are they? Let's go ahead and look. Well, this candle right here was our crack in the ice. What the hell is that? That doesn't look like anything. Well, one, bearish engulfing, right? Bigger than that one. But two, the most important. I always tell, if you've been watching me for a long time, watch the 21 EMA. That is where you're starting to change trend potentially, right? And that was our first closing candle in a long time for our close below the 21. So typically you want to wait for a second confirming candle. Did we get that? No. So, and also you're on the 4-hour chart. So let's wait on the 4-hour than say the daily, 3-day or weekly, right? So, maybe we're just messing around here, but that is certainly a time to not say, let's panic sell right now, but certainly a warning shot, so to speak, by Bitcoin, and that's what we got right there. How about before that? Did we get any other things that you need to be paying attention to? Well, you can go back to this candle right here. What the hell is that? That is called a shooting star candle on the 4-hour, and that often marks tops of, uptrends, and that is what that was. Even more significance with this one. Can you see it? What the hell is different about that candle? It printed a shooting star outside of the upper Bollinger Band. That is even more of a hello warning shot firework. That's, something's potentially changing here. So did we get it on the next candle? No. The 4-hour chart doesn't like to give us confirmations right away, apparently, right? We got a warning here and just kidding right next to it. And then we got a warning here and then a just kidding right next to it. But then this one was, where you really need to pay attention because we hadn't got anything like that in, many sessions as well. Certainly right after, 2 sessions right after, shooting star pattern, right? So keep that in mind, moving forward. If you ever see this on the daily or the weekly, it's run for the hills time, right? More likely than not. If you're up in profit and you see this happen, probably time to go. Or at least lock in some profits and, maybe take half off the table, something like that, right? Usually you don't want to move 100% in or out of markets, dollar cost average, slow approach. But, if you start seeing warning signs, you do yourself a favor and at least take, whatever you had invested maybe in and leave the rest to kind of run, something like that. But so that is the 4-hour chart zoomed in. Where are we going to fall to? Well, the 4-hour is not going to do us much help, but if you do zoom out here, right, look at all this zone, right? So likely that top of that zone is, 28.7, just under 29K. There's also not really any moving averages there. So maybe somewhere in the middle, maybe if you can't really see it on one time frame, zoom out to the next one, right? Sometimes you're just too zoomed in, right? So here's the daily chart now. Now we've cut through the EMA 8. We haven't closed this candle yet. We closed obviously 9 hours, almost 10 hours. So depending on when you watch this, maybe you'll have your answer. But if we close below the EMA 8, then your next one, right? We've already tagged the EMA 14 in the purple, and you can see still that's not really a big level, right? There's nothing over here, right? You want to look for liquidity, and here's kind of our zone here. So, paint it from your bottom closing candle, right? That's what we did there, and your top closing candle, right? That's kind of your zone with the closing. If you need more help, right, just put on closing prices, then you can see that's, it makes it super simple if you do that, right? Put it at the top of the line and the bottom of the line, and there's your zone. So you can do that on any time chart as well. So looking at this, do we have any warnings here? Well, probably going to end up closing below the EMA 8, no guarantees, but to avoid that, right, let's see what number we need to avoid that. 29.8, right? That's the EMA 8 right up here. So we need to close at 29.8 to avoid, increased odds. That's all you have in crypto or any chart is your odds. You're trying to, put the odds in your favor of what you think is coming next, right? Nobody has a predicting crystal ball, but, the TA works based on, past events and based on what you can look for that's why we track all of this, right? That's why you're looking at charts, that's why you're watching this video. You're trying to get a hint of what could possibly come in the future, not to predict the future, but potentials based on odds, right? So having said that, looking at the daily chart, EMA 14, that is at 29, call it 29.4. It's right on it, hovering right on it. That is our next, I would say minor support, and minor because why? Right? No liquidity over here, right? Your liquidity zone is down in here. EMA 21 right there. But guess what? You have a bigger issue though if you go back to this zone, because why? Well, what we talked about in the 4-hour. You're now likely closing below the EMA 21. And on any time chart, closing below the EMA 21 is a warning sign that you're not done going lower just yet. So that could be a maybe a silver lining for the bears, that or further downside if you want it to go down. That if we close down in here, although that's a nice zone, it's not quite low enough, or maybe too low, right? We close below this. So if we go down here, could we hold that? Yeah, but right, zoomed out on a bigger time scale, it doesn't seem like maybe 28.5 to 28K is even enough. So let's zoom out even more. How about to the weekly? Now look at that zone. Is that a huge liquidity zone? Not really. We did hold it for 3 weeks. What is this blue line? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's the 100-week moving average, 100-week EMA. That's right at 27,663 as of right now. But you do have a little bit of backup support here, right? Backup check. You got calling for backup. You got your red and blue, right? We can call this the Popo line, right? So we got they're likely going to intersect very soon here over the course of, when this closes, when we close, no matter where we are, right? 27.6, excuse me, the EMA 8 and the EMA 100 on the weekly. So that would be a bigger level. Plus, we held 3 consecutive weeks before moving up. So that would be my first target on the bigger picture, right? 27.5 to 27.6, kind of right in that area. We did get above it, closed above it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive weeks. So that is step one on the weekly picture where I'd be looking for our initial support. Now, how far down would we have to go? Well, is this a significant drop for Bitcoin? If you've been around any amount of time, you know this is probably not significant for Bitcoin. 8% weekly down move is not significant for Bitcoin, right? I think we can all agree with that. And that would still be perfectly healthy on the weekly chart, zoomed out, right? Going down to here again is not a big deal. It might seem like it if it happens this week, going from, 30K to 27 is, not fun, but that is we're still good, right? Where would we start to see bigger warning signs is if we travel down a little bit further, right? And our bigger level that we looked at, breaking to the upside, right? You got to look at upside breakouts, and you got to look at throwback levels. A throwback is a retest of your key breakout zone. So this is our key breakout zone, right? You have a top here, that's our breakout, kind of our inverse head and shoulders, right? You see your head down here. You got your, I would paint your shoulder there, and then maybe a disfigured shoulder over here. We're sorry about Bitcoin's disfigurement, but this is the breakout, right? We should have gone a little bit higher, but maybe we still go based on that target. I believe the target was around 34K. Maybe we still get it, right? Maybe not. If we don't, right, here's our kind of our exit sign, or our increased odds of coming down back to this zone. If this fails, right? This hopefully will hold. 27.5, 27.6, something in there or thereabouts. If it doesn't, your odds go up of retesting this level. So let me remove these drawings and see why. Well, based on that zone, that's a big one because you have these two. This would be the kind of the bullish retest, and keyword there's bullish, right? We can still go down here and remain bullish, right? That's just simply retesting our breakout zone, which would absolutely be still healthy around 25K. Not only that, you have your this pink line right here. That's the EMA 200 weekly, right? That's at 25K as well. You're also likely going to be holding the 21 week, right? In the yellow, right? You can see that down here. Look at the about face. And, if it takes a week or two, it will likely also be very close to 25K. That absolutely must hold. Right, the 25K, maybe 24.5, right, where these closed. This closed at 24.2, right? I'll give it down there. That's fine, right? But that would be kind of a hard line in the sand for me, based on all of the recent price action going all the way back to, I mean, we could be looking at a year, right? We can kind of retest this level maybe in June or July again, right? Where we kind of held it back in this area, right? I mean, June, July, we could be absolutely be talking about 25K in June or July of this year, right? It seems like that wants to hold, or at least retest that at some point. Whether that be this week, that would be a little bit more severe, right? Let's go to the opening candle. How far down would that be? And then we would be flirting with like 20%, right? That's a 20% downwards move if it happened this week. That's still not abnormal for Bitcoin if you've been around any time, right? I mean, there's a 22% candle, 22% candle over here again. So 20% drawdown would scare the shit out of everybody, maybe all of us included, but that is still absolutely healthy. A bullish retest, a throwback to the breakout level. Absolutely okay still. That's where it stops being okay though. If we are to close under that, then we need to reevaluate everything, right? We can make a video when and if that event occurs, but this is, if you missed all of this, right, this is where you reload, right? You reload on the bullish retest of a breakout level. You reload on the throwback. So if we get down here in the next handful of weeks and you missed all this yet, here's your second chance and maybe your final chance before kaboom. We're still in a bull market until proven otherwise. Where would we start to get proven otherwise? If we start to close below here. We're still okay as long as we're not closing, below roughly this kind of level. You don't want to close below any shoulders here. So 19, 18.5, we still got a ways to go below that. I would point to, that wick even would be of the utmost important if we hit it again. Okay. So, we got a long ways to go if we hit that. Still bullish for the long term. I think the bull run's here, but just giving you kind of, the lowest possible levels I could see us going this week and still remaining ultimately bullish, right? Not trying to predict anything, tell you anything where we're going, where possibilities are, but I know a lot of people have questions on if they start seeing red, where the hell could we bottom at in the short time frame and the long time frame. So we looked at the 4 hour, the daily, the 3 day, the weekly. We didn't do the 3 day, but I gave away what I'm going to do next. Look at some indicators. One of my favorite indicators of basically all time, the Fisher transform. A lot of math involved in this, volume, momentum. It works very well. So on the weekly, we're still looking good, but we got to wait for the close. You got to wait for closing prices. Now, when we mentioned the 3 day, 3 days pretty big. What the hell just happened? Well, we just got a trigger down. What does that mean? A trigger sell on the 3 day. We've only had 2 trigger downs in 2023. That was 1. That was 2, right? I would argue that this is still a downwards movement, even though this is down and down, right? This is a bigger uptrend, bigger downtrend, right? And you can go all the way back to November. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, you could argue, of cross downs on the 3 days. So it's 6 months, right? If this is the start, you're averaging over a month in downtrends here. So let that sink in, right? Just keep that in mind. We haven't closed this yet. When the hell do we close the 3 day? I'm glad you asked. Tomorrow. It's just tomorrow. Wait for that, right? What are we waiting for? We got the trigger down, right? That's your early warning sign, but this can come up if we don't close down here, right? If Bitcoin closes under 30K, this will likely confirm. And what you'd want to look for is, I call it train tracks, right? You got to run the train tracks parallel. See like you're running here? You want both tracks running down, and you both running parallel to get that confirmation to the downside, right? That's what you're looking for. We don't have the confirmation just yet, but tomorrow's close, Tuesday close, this 3 day will likely confirm or, reject. So we'll have to see. Now, do we have anything else we can look at? Well, not much more great news, but the daily chart also trigger sell on the Fisher transform, with also printing a lower high at the same time that prices printed a higher high, right? That's called bearish divergence. Fisher transform is great for divergence. Also, another good thing for divergence is the OBV. But the only thing I don't like about OBV is you have to adjust it every time, because it loses based on if you look at the daily chart versus the 3 day, it'll be gone. So you have to zoom in every time and readjust it. So not really a fan of that, but you can see here, right, high and a lower high. Well, at the same time, prices were going up, right? Bearish divergence. And maybe this is the play out of that. So this is why I'm a little bit more hesitant to look at, the 4 hour or daily charts even to look for support, because The 3-day and the daily on the Fisher Transform have triggered down. Those do not come that often, so be aware of that. Now, Sunday close, we will get a weekly close, and we could see this weekly Fisher Transform, depending on where we close, trigger sell. Now, the weekly is even bigger, right? I mean, how many trigger downs have we got on the weekly? I mean, it's not a whole lot. Maybe 3 to 4 in a year, right? Let's keep that in mind. So if you see that, I mean, we're probably going down for a good little bit. Okay, so hopefully that helped you out. If it did, I'm happy to help you out. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Telegram, and Patreons for if you want to take a deeper dive, get more private alerts. I do, ton of updates every day in our private Patreon, Telegram. So if you're interested in that, I'll be happy to help you out there. Quote of the day: find something that you're passionate about and keep tremendously interested in it. Great advice, right? Why not? Why not do something you love and do it every day, right? Car of the day. I didn't pull up a damn picture, but we can do my, top scale model over here. It's a big one. Pagani. It's got the whatever you want, the coolest doors on the planet. So that is that. The Pagani Huayra. And the door just fell. Damn it. So this is a big one. This is these are like hand built by Auto Art. These are pretty cool. So they're all moving parts. Got real carpet fiber. It's probably the coolest. If you can't tell, I'm into cars. So at least model cars. All right. I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to do a thumbs up. It helps spread the word. No clickbaits. No spamming. No going to the moon. None of that bullshit. Just show you the charts based on all my knowledge and info. I'm a CMT level 1, right? Chartered market technician. Spent hundreds of hours studying for that. So, not just the guy off the street that loves looking at cars, but I am that as well. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Sorry to ramble. Some people like it. It's ridiculous. I'll work on it. I'll better myself.